My husband told me he doesn't like this version of me after having our son. Hey all, thanks for being here. I really need some ears on this. My husband and I had a baby 15 months ago, married 2 years, dated 5 total, and I experienced pretty severe postpartum OCD and anxiety. I also have depression and ADHD. So, admittedly I am quite a lot and very difficult to navigate at times. I'm transparent about my mental health and my struggles and am open about discussing it, getting help, therapist, and starting new meds, Lexapro. I am in a much different place than I was when our son was born. I was having about 10 intrusive thoughts a day regarding my son being brutally injured, never by me, but weird thoughts like a semi-truck crashing into the house or a forklift going rogue at Costco, etc., etc. Those have stopped and I'm much better during travel. I've agreed to over 6 vacations in his first year, so 14 plus flights and a month in Israel and week in Europe, US based. I say this all to advocate for myself and how far I've come. Anyway, tonight my husband finally told me why he's been resenting me so much. I'm a huge energy person and I feel the slightest shift, and his has been off with me for so long. He just told me and I simply cannot imagine being okay after this. He said that he misses the person I used to be, the person he fell in love with, and that he wouldn't have chosen this version of me for a partner. He said he wants me to be flexible with everything and agree to any and all plans, basically to be a yes girl with zero questions or concern. I did used to be a yes person, but I learned through therapy it was often to provide dopamine ASAP without thinking about the consequences. Is this what the end of a relationship looks like? Is this two people growing apart? Comment. Being a yes girl for any and everything goes out the window when you have a child. You can't just shift plans at the drop of a hat anymore. Little ones need structure and routines. Your husband needs to understand this. He's not going to understand this. It sounds like husband wanted someone who would focus on him and treat him like a main character and not an actual partner with their own wants and needs. Until husband learns to put others before himself, this relationship won't work, especially now that they have a child. OMG, you've taken 6 vacations in the first year of your baby's life and that's not good enough for your husband. He is complaining that you are not flexible enough. And you need to agree to any and all plans. WTF? What freaking planet is he living on? You just had a baby. Your body needs to heal and you both need to adjust to being parents. And guess what? Babies need routines and structure. I hate the way you automatically assume that you are the problem. Yes, you are struggling with depression, OCD, and ADHD. But you are seeing a therapist and trying to deal with it? Your husband sounds like a selfish who is completely unsupportive and unwilling to acknowledge the changes that happen when you become parents. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. I think my kid was 3 the first time I took him more than an hour from home. I think it would have been fine by 2 but not really worth it. By 3 at least he could make some actual memories. Carting an infant around would have just been miserable. The most telling part of her post is how she used to be a yes person but is working through in therapy. Your husband married someone who agreed with whatever he wanted, instead of an equal partnership, and now that she is speaking up and advocating for herself, it's an inconvenience to him. Girl, he is the weak link here. Having a baby can be a transformative experience. The anxiety and OCD are terrible. I went through similar terror of bad things happening. It's super scary. You are doing all the right things. Unfortunately, you may find yourself outgrowing your selfish husband. Wow, I can't get over going on 6 vacations, 1 in only a year and 2 with a 1-year-old. After the first trip you may change your mind about the others. Depending on how helpful your partner and families are, you might want to go on the vacation that we're really looking forward to first, just in case. But you guys should try couples counseling if we're trying to stay together. A lot of couples struggle after having a baby. If he isn't willing to also try, then you should probably consider divorce. It takes 2 people to make a relationship work, especially with a baby. You sound amazing. Congrats. I'd like to share a story. When I met my ex, I was very much a yes girl. Lots of doing what he wanted, lots of deferring. Over time I too started getting help for my depression and anxiety. I began to understand that I was of value and attractive. I was worthy. One day, he tried to break up with me because he didn't like my confidence. He said I was showing off because I explained my retail job to someone in a way that didn't make me seem ashamed of myself. I will never forget thinking how this man didn't like me because I was happier. I'm now 7 years into a different relationship and this man only wants my happiness and growth. Please do not sacrifice your growth and happiness for someone who wants you to stay tiny. Next story 2. My ex cheated on me and chose the other woman. He wants me to be the side piece. We began dating in March. I suspected he was unfaithful when he said he'd prefer I don't post him social media, so we keep our relationship private. He got to meet my mom and aunt and I got to speak to his family. We planned I visit them in July. He came for my graduation, and right after he left went for a weekend-long concert in Miami. He suggested we move in together. I was against the idea. We concluded once I land a job, I'd move out. I was wrapping up grad school when we made these plans. A week before I moved to be with him, I found out on social media he had been with another woman when he went for the concert in Miami. That very day I found out he was in Mexico with her. I confronted him and he didn't respond to any of my calls, so I ended up messaging him, and in one of my messages to him I mentioned that I understood the relationship had ended but I didn't have anywhere to go, so I'd rather stay at his till I find a job. I still moved to be with him. Biggest mistake I ever made, because I had ended my lease so I had nowhere to be. I must add that I was in the process of interviewing for a role in his state. He run with the narrative that I didn't move because of him, it was only because of my job. I told the other woman about my relationship with him. She basically told me off and stayed with him. It's been 2 months of living with him, rubbing it in my face that he chose her. I went through their texts and he told her I used him and that he loved her more. All the while he was still telling me he didn't know who to pick. I eventually woke up and walked out of the relationship. I also got the job and I start in a few weeks. He told me he wants us to keep in touch and have fun when I leave. I walked out of the conversation because I believe I am worth a committed, loyal and honest lover. As I type this, he drove 2 hours to be with her. I am jealous because I still have feelings for him, but I know I deserve better so she can have him. My question is, I want to tell her everything that happened from my perspective because I would hate to see another woman go through this exact thing, and I know it happened because he is still cheating with other women. Is it worth it, or should I just carry on with my life? P.S. For context, I'm an international student. He met my mom via video call and my aunt, who doesn't live in the US, in person during my graduation. If you know what the current job market is like, you'd know international students barely have a lot of opportunities. Believe it or not, this is the only job who accepted my visa status and aligned with the program I studied. Also no, this is not for revenge. I found messages on his phone between them where I saw the extent to which he had brainwashed her to the point where they were both planning how to kick me out. The lady in question went to my high school and knows me from a distance. I am a recovering people pleaser, so for years putting people's comfort before mine has been my MO. Even when I saw pictures and videos of them on vacation in Mexico, I could have messaged her but I didn't because I didn't want to ruin her vacation/vacation. So how am I the one seeking revenge? Comment. She literally doesn't care. You've already told her once about you and she said go away. So stop digging in the trash. Yup, agree. I would tell her if it wasn't for her response, lols. Oh well, let her find it out the hard way once he is bored of her and leave her the same way he did to you. It's not your problem anymore. Also, you deserve better and you'll find happiness with that one eventually. Don't worry too much about it, you'll be fine, babe. Absolutely do not keep in touch with him, and as for her, he will do the same thing to her. She won't believe a word that you say, so don't waste your energy on it. I too am a people pleaser, to a fault, but this would be one of those times where I would adjust my crown, hold my head high, and remember the queen I am. Please do the same. Block them from any contact, and put that energy into your new job and healing wounds. If necessary, get into counseling. One day you will find someone who deserves you. Hugs from a stranger. Firstly, everyone is proud of you for recognizing your worth and leaving an unfaithful relationship. Your well-being and peace should always come first. It is understandable to want to inform the other woman. Remember, she's already made her choice after you initially told her. Instead of seeking validation or closure from either of those people, focus on your new job and on building your life without him. Healing and moving on will be the best revenge. Surround yourself with people who value and support you. Your future is bright without such negativity in your life. You've got this. Firstly, he didn't choose her over you, he just had you trapped. He didn't need to put as much effort in with her. Personally, I don't know how you kept your sanity having to live with him with all this going on. But you did, and you were able to focus on what you needed to do, get a job and move out. I wouldn't worry about the other girl. You told her, she can believe his stories until it happened to her, and then she will know. Go enjoy your life. You tried to tell her, she didn't even bother to listen, which shows that she doesn't care about this issue enough. And he will probably cheat on her in future, only then her mind might wake up. You did good, you know your worth, and you tried to warn the other girl, and you are moving on with your life. It's not gonna be easy to forget him, but you know he is a cheating asshole. Remember that whenever you feel jealous. Good luck, girl. Please implement the gray rock and minimize your interactions with them. X and AP, you already warned her about the kind of man she is dating, and she decided to keep going to him. If you want to be extra petty, begin to dress up every day, take care of your looking. This and the emotional disconnection of the gray rock will mess his ego, because this kind of narcissist can stand that people has move on from them. Set your socials into private and block them and unfollow everywhere. If he asks, just tell, we don't have any kind of relationship, there is no need for you to be in my socials, and do not explain more, do not give any information about you anymore, and focus all your energy into leaving that place. You deserve a lot better.